Hi everybody and welcome to Skybox. I'm Tony Salimo and we have a great show for you today. This week is Super Bowl week across the area, with the game being played at MetLife Stadium on Sunday. So we had a chance to take advantage of the Super Bowl being in our backyard. We sent two of our reporters out to cover Media Day Tuesday at the Rock, the Prudential Center in Newark, for those who don't know what the Rock is. And so we have a great couple of interviews we're going to show you. But first let me introduce who we have with us. On our set today, and our reporters and technologists in the field, is Alicia Ferrucci. Alicia, thanks for being with us, and thanks for doing the interviews this week.
Absolutely.
The program was a great time.
It was great.
And Abigail Whitaker, who's she does everything here for us. She does shooting, editing, on-air reporting. Abigail, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so it was a great time. Let's start with you, Alyssa. How did this go about? What did you see, and what did you think about being in the Rock for this big event?
It was fantastic. We had the opportunity to go in with a couple thousand other members of the media from across the area, even from out of the country. People were there from Brazil, Canada. We had the opportunity to interview the different players from around the Seahawks and the Broncos, and it was an hour per team. So it felt like 10 minutes. It was a blur when we were actually in the moment, but it was great. We had the opportunity to ask them some very interesting questions, and probably the best part of it was to see how they react to the media. Guys like Richard Sherman, who loved the limelight, and Peyton Manning, and then you have the polar opposite in Marshawn Lynch, who showed up only for 6 minutes. So it was very interesting. It was a great event to be a part of.
And you're taking a course here at the college. You're taking performance radio and television.
Yes.
So you're going out and you're doing an internship. And Abigail, you did an internship last semester, but you're also here helping out and volunteering for programming here. What did you see? How did you like going over to do this media day? It was pretty exciting for you because I know you're a Patriot fan and they're not involved, so you were hoping to see the Gronk, I guess.
Yeah, well, Media Day, it really is the reason why I wanted to be a reporter and in the field. I just loved talking to the football players. It was like they were normal people and they were just so nice and welcoming to the media. And I got to meet a few former Patriot players, so I was very happy. It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience that I hope I get to have every year from now on for the Super Bowl.
It'd be super. And you worked with the Jets for a while.
Yes.
So did that experience help you when you were there? Did that give you a little bit of an edge where you had a little bit more information, whatever?
I think it did. I am, the NFL is where I want to be, as well as Abby, and just being around those players and being around NFL players for 3 years while I was at the Jets, and the analysts and the personalities and kind of just the whole atmosphere, I think helped a lot to just jump right in and dive right in, as opposed to just walking in kind of being stunned. It was great. I definitely think my time at the Jets was helpful in that regard.
All right, we have a bunch of interviews to get to, so let's go right to it. We're going to start out with Sean Phillips, defensive end for the Broncos, and you guys talked to him. How was that?
It was great. He was actually our first interview of the day, and there's quite a large amount of media members around them at any given moment. So we were trying to jump in and get a question answered, and we asked him about Seattle's #1 defense and the fact that if that lights a spark with them in their locker room, he said that it didn't affect them really at all. And we have a clip of the interview.
All right, let's check out the clip.
Sean, a lot of the talk has been about Seattle's defense, ranked #1 leading up to the game. Does that light an extra spark in the locker room with you guys?
No, not at all. All we can do is worry about ourselves. We want them to get all the attention. They can have all the media, they can have all that. We're going to go out there, we're going to do our job, and may the best team win.
So good interview. Did it scare you getting up there right with the players? Because that's the first time you guys have done this, right?
It was. It was intimidating at first to jump right in there, but it was great. After we got that one under our belt, we felt comfortable and we started
ready.
rolling.
All right, then you talked to Coach John Fox of the Denver Broncos. You know, John Fox to me is like the prototype football coach.
Yes.
So did you feel intimidated at all trying to ask the coach a question?
It wasn't intimidating as I thought it would be. I come from obviously the Jets, an organization where Rex Ryan is the head coach over there, a defensive mind, one of the best in the league, and to have the opportunity to ask John Fox what he pictured when he was going to get to the Super Bowl. He's got the #1 offense going into it as opposed to maybe a #1 defense where you would associate him with. So it was great.
All right, let's take a look at the clip. Here's John Fox's interview.
As a defensive-minded coach, you'd be here at the Super Bowl with the #1 offense and Peyton Manning as your quarterback?
Well, once you become a head coach, I think most people, relegate people to one side of the ball or not. As I explained to guys, I probably watch more offense than offensive coaches do, being a defensive coach. So I think, you just adapt philosophies, you adapt, football concepts as you move along. And I think there's been real successful head coaches that come from both sides. So, I know our guys have worked very hard. Adam Gase has done a tremendous job. The whole offensive staff has done a tremendous job. And, it's still going to be the best team going to win Sunday, not just one side.
All right, that was a good interview. It's good to get the coach on. And still with the Broncos, Demaryius Thomas. Abigail, what did you think of Demaryius during the interview?
Oh, he was really entertaining. He really knew how to work the media, and he just loved answering everyone's questions and everything.
Let's take a look at that clip with Demaryius Thomas.
Demaryius, how much fun is it to go to work every day and do your job when Peyton Manning is the quarterback throwing you the football?
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I feel like I learn every day. It's a lot of fun. I learn every day, and I'll be happy to go in.
All right, we have a next clip is Wes Welker. I have to ask you, Abby, being a fan of the Patriots, did you feel a little bit of traitor type thing going on here with Wes Welker?
Well, in the beginning, when as a fan I felt as a traitor, but as a journalist, it was a dream to interview Wes Welker because this is his third time in the Super Bowl, and he has all this experience that he can help the rookies who've never been there on the team to get through it and get the big win on Sunday. And he was just a really nice guy, and some journalists actually wrote a haiku about him, and he just laughed it off like it was a normal thing. So he was a really cool guy.
Now, there were some other players that you didn't really interview, but you saw Peyton Manning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And how was that? Did he say hi to you? Did he see you? Did you wave to him? Did you try to get some attention from him?
Well, we tried to flag him down. I was screaming, "Mr. Manning, Peyton, we have a question." But he was literally surrounded by cameras. There's actually a stand in the back, and that even was filled in front of him, the bleachers. He was the one that him and Richard Sherman were the two people were the hot ticket at Media Day this year.
He was tough. He would lock in. He knows the game, obviously. He's been in the league for 16 years, and he would lock in eye contact with every reporter so you knew who he was going to. But it was a battle. We kept yelling out our question, Peyton, 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 and you have to keep rolling with it. But we had a good question for him. We were a little bummed that we didn't get that one in.
Well, here's Wes Welker with some advice for the rookies at their first Super Bowl.
Was, enjoy it, but understand that it's a business trip at the same time, and just go out there and have fun with it, and at the end of the day, just treat it like any other game as much as you can.
Also, will you be wearing the Jetson helmet this coming Sunday?
Well, I haven't had a concussion yet wearing it, so I'll probably stick with it.
What's it been like working with?
All right, guys, now remind yourselves that you were students. You had never done this before.
Yes.
Right? And Abigail, you hadn't been on the big stage like this before. Were you guys awake the night before all night?
Pretty much.
Yeah, I went to sleep at 11 o'clock and I woke up at 3 a.m. I was excited, I was nervous. I was just ready for the day to start and enjoy every second of it.
What did it feel like when you got there and you walked up to the rink, to the facilities, and then you were about to walk into this massive media blitz? What did that feel like for you guys?
It was surreal for both of us. It was a dream come true to get to be a part of that. Without the Super Bowl coming to New Jersey and New York, we would have never been granted that opportunity. So we were both ecstatic to be able to walk in there and get right into it.
And I feel very lucky to have this opportunity because I gave myself a goal after I graduated college in May. I was like, I will be at Media Day. I will be there on the floor asking the players questions, and I achieved it. So it feels really good. It feels like a great accomplishment.
A quick question about that. You guys are both graduates of other schools, but you came back to school to get more hands-on with us here at Channel 20, which we're very grateful for.
Yeah, absolutely. For an opportunity just like this to get right on camera, get right in the action. I mean, there is not a better day, and I think I speak for both of us, either of our minds, to be able to jump into Super Bowl Media Day. Maybe unless it was the Patriots and the Jets, but which would be great for an AFC Championship game. But yeah, this opportunity to intern here and take a class just the experience hands-on is, you know, you can't trade it.
That's priceless. All right, your next interview was with Eric Decker, wide receiver for the Broncos. Let's check that tape.
Eric, you've taken some pretty hard hits going back to your days at Minnesota. Does that help prepare you at all mentally and physically for facing the Legion of Boom on Sunday?
The Legion of Boom. You know, I think a lot of my experiences throughout my life have helped me to where I am today. You know, taking hard hits, does it get you ready? I don't know, but you know what it feels like when you get hit hard. And I think a lot of defenses we play this year are very physical teams. Football's a physical game, so I think we're all prepared for, you know, a good battle this weekend.
All right, we're back. Another good interview. That was a lot of fun. But now we're going to go to the Seahawks. So the Seahawks have a little bit of mystery about them. They have that tough defense, you know, a lot of little controversy with Sherman and all the comments going on with Crabtree and all that kind of stuff. Where you interviewed the quarterback, Russell Wilson. Any intimidation there? Getting the quarterback, the top player on the team?
Well, we were one of the first people at his podium. We stood there for like an hour just waiting for him. And once he got there, it was normal because by then we were just so used to interviewing football players. It was just like another person on the street, but he just has an NFL contract.
He was great. He actually was a communications major himself, so he as well, just like Peyton, he knows the game and he knows how to work the media, and he was really, really easy to talk to.
There were 3 old women who were representing another TV show, and the one old lady was like, "Oh, can you give me a hug inside my jersey?" Because Peyton signed hers and hugged hers, and he just went up to the old woman and hugged her. And like that's what Media Day is about. Just the fans and the football.
Interesting. Okay, great. So let's take a look at the interview with Russell Wilson, quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks.
Does it make your job any easier knowing that the #1 defense is taking the field on the other side of the ball?
In terms of, you know, having the #1 defense, that's a great thing to have, you know, especially playing the quarterback position. Being able to go against them, it's only my 2nd year, but to be able to go against our guys on a daily basis, to go against Richard Sherman, to go against Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor and Byron Maxwell, our defensive line and linebackers, it helps me improve. And then in terms of games, they make big plays for us, we make big plays for them. Special teams, we're united as one, and so our goal is to go 1-0 every game, and it's the same thing for the Super Bowl.
All right, another interview that was interesting. Did you have any trouble getting up close? Did you have to push the media out of the way?
Actually, it wasn't too bad. Once we figured out how to get to the front, we went to the right people at the right time. Like players like Sherman and Peyton Manning, we kind of skipped over because we knew we wouldn't be able to ask a question.
All right, let's take a look. We have a couple of interviews coming up here. We have Michael Bennett. He's the defensive end for the Seahawks, and we're going to go right to Percy Harvin, wide receiver of the Seahawks. Percy Harvin, wide receiver of the Seahawks. That's right. So that should be interesting. We'll see what they have to say. Let's go to that tape.
To play with him on the Bears. Since you only have a 1-year contract, are you considering going to the Bears or not?
Well, I can't consider it now because I'm actually playing for the Seahawks, but no, I'm looking forward to whatever happens in March, and I'm going to be ready for whatever opportunity is presented for me.
Favorite quarterback to sack and why?
Favorite quarterback to sack is, I don't know, all of them.
Can you explain the emotion you felt when you found out that you were cleared for the biggest game of your career?
Man, it was a bunch of doctors all sitting there, man. It was another sign of relief, man. Just going through that the whole protocols and the hips, and just everything, man. To finally get that clearance, to know that I got one more chance to strap up my pads, man. It was a big sign of relief.
What was the first thing you did when you found out that you're going to play in the game?
I ran and hugged the doctors.
Well, the interview with Percy Harvin, you know, he used to play with the Minnesota Vikings, but he had some injury issues, right, this year?
Yeah, he's been injury-ridden, and he's played under 40 snaps, actually, on the offense. So that's a whole mystery in itself that Seattle presents to Denver's defense in the game. But as you saw, we asked him, and he was pretty excited when he found out he was cleared to play in this game on Sunday.
It'll be interesting to see how much time he actually does get, and that's going to be another issue, like you said, for Denver to deal with. But we'll see. John Fox is a defensive-type coach, so come up with something.
Exactly.
I always, and this is for you, Abby, I know that whenever the Patriots were involved in it, it seemed like that, and even when he was with the Giants, Belichick always came up with some kind of defensive scheme, something in his pocket that would stop the other team.
It's kind of like the Denver game in November where the Patriots were down 28 points going into the second half, and all of a sudden everything was alive again because Belichick always finds a way to stop the quarterback.
He did it when he was with the Giants. The only thing he hasn't done is figured out a way to beat the Giants in the Super Bowl. So
Yeah.
I guess you had a good time with that.
I'm thinking it's like the Babe Ruth curse, you know? It's Boston, New York rivalries.
All right, and the girls spoke to Derek Coleman. He's been deaf since he's 3 years old, and he has a commercial running, a Duracell commercial, and that commercial is getting a lot of airplay, and it's doing a great job, and it really emphasizes the fact that Derek is actually playing football with this handicap. So let's hear what he had to say.
Derek, you've been a huge inspiration ever since your Duracell commercial came out. Who has been your biggest inspiration?
My biggest inspiration basically been my mom. My mom and my dad, just being able to raise me. You know, they went over all the obstacles that I ever had to overcome. They went with me. It wasn't just, you know, me. They made me who I am today. They helped me. My brother and my sister, you know, they didn't really treat me any different. You know, they treat me the same way they treat my siblings or anybody else. And that right there basically made a statement, okay, if they're not treating me different because I have hearing loss, I shouldn't consider myself different. And so that basically just helped me go, okay, I have hearing loss, but I can just go out there and do it.
What is your pre-game, like, warm-up? Like, do you have any superstitions before any game?
Oh, yeah. I mean, everybody who plays any sport or do anything, you always have that superstition. You always have that thing. And I think the biggest thing, I think mine is really, you know, it's just like the day before the game, it's just I always have to go and buy music or get new music because it just keeps me going. Just more stuff like that. And that's how, I mean, everybody has superstitions, and mine is just, you never really know until you really think about it, but sometimes I like to clean my own cleats before the game. In high school, I used to always I even clean my shoulder pads back then.
All right, you saw some of the other media there, and you're able to get a hold of some of the personnel from on-air people from the NFL Network. So Sean O'Hara, who used to play with the Giants, center with the Giants, and you had an interview with him. How did that go?
Yeah,
how did that feel talking to another media person versus a player?
It was great. I mean, those I think we really appreciated because they do now at this point in their career what both of us would like to do. So they were great. Sean O'Hara, obviously, he said that he wished that the G-Men made it to the Super Bowl, but outside of that, he was very happy that it came to New Jersey and that New York and that we have this opportunity as the New York metro area.
All right, the interview with Sean O'Hara, former center for the New York Giants, and now with the NFL Network. Let's see that tape.
We're with Sean O'Hara, former New York Giant. Sean, how do you feel about the Super Bowl being in New York and New Jersey?
It's great. You know, I wish the G-Men were playing in it, but it's great to have this huge event, to have all this publicity come to New Jersey and New York area. I think it's great, not just for the sport, but I think it's great for the city and for all the people around here because the Super Bowl, it is the pinnacle of the NFL season. And I think it's great that the players have all embraced it, and I think it's great that the league has embraced it.
And you also had a chance to interview Steve Weiss. We see him all the time on the NFL Network. He was very gracious, very good interview. So any nervousness about another star, so to speak, being interviewed by you guys, either one of you?
Yeah, we were right behind him when we were trying to get to Percy Harvin's podium. And we kind of stopped in our tracks, and I said, let's grab Steve Weiss, ask him a few questions, or even just how he feels about the Super Bowl being here in New York. He travels a lot, he reports himself, and he was standing there with his notepad and pen, just reporting, doing the same thing that we were trying to do. So that was really cool to see him in his element working, and it was nice of him to step aside and actually give us an interview as well. So we asked him his thoughts on the Super Bowl being here in New Jersey, and I can show you what he said.
Did they know you were students?
We said we were from a small station in Sussex County.
Okay, good.
We're here with Steve Weiss. Steve, what are your thoughts on the Super Bowl being in New York and New Jersey?
Well, I mean, I think it's interesting because everybody's worried about the weather and the cold weather, and it's going to interrupt the game. But they play cold weather games all the time in the NFL, and it's a great city. It's a great market. I would hate for weather to interrupt the two best teams playing in a game like this, but these are both cold weather teams. The market is here for it. It's the big media market. Everyone can capitalize on it, and we know the region is ready for a game like this.
All right, we're back from the interview with Steve Weiss. So that was the end of the day, pretty much. You were there almost the whole day. Let's get some general comments from you. Alyssa, what did you think? What did you feel about the whole experience overall?
It was my first time being out there in the field, and to do it at an event of that magnitude was it was surreal, and it was great and a blessing for both of us. We talked to a few other people who weren't very excited that the Super Bowl was here because of how cold it's been and the chance that it may snow, that it may ruin the game. But for us, as I said, we wouldn't have had that opportunity, and it was as much as you could ask for to go in and interview these stars that have made it to the pinnacle of their careers playing in the Super Bowl in New York and New Jersey, of course, and I loved it.
Abby?
I really enjoyed it because I got to see my fellow journalists in their element, and it's nice to see them outside of a classroom, and just being at Super Bowl Media Day was amazing. I can't even describe how I felt. Like, the rest of the day I was so happy and overjoyed. And the people that I met Regis Philbin, and I was like, oh, if you need a replacement on your show, here's my card. But it was just nice to go out and meet the people that I watch on TV every day, and for them to see me as a journalist, not as just a viewer or a student. It was an amazing experience.
All right, thanks for taking the time out to be with us today. And I'm sure folks watching on EDTV Channel 20, you're going to see a lot of these two faces on the air. We have a couple of other shows that they're going to be doing. We have On Campus that's coming up. We're going to be doing an art show. And of course, more Skybox right here on EDTV Channel 20.
When I first applied to Sussex, it was more for financial reasons. I got a scholarship here to Sussex, which was very nice. I was able to keep my part-time job that I had throughout high school. And then when I got here, I became involved in many clubs, activities, and really enjoyed my stay here at Sussex. From Sussex County Community College, I transferred to Binghamton University in upstate New York. It was a very smooth transition, and eventually started my career with Merrill Lynch in the Global Wealth Management Division in the January of 2008.
Sussex County Community College. Start here, go anywhere.
Sussex County Community College was really great in helping me be prepared to graduate in the time that I wanted to be able to graduate in. I really felt that my professors really cared about us as students and as people. I transferred immediately to William Patterson University, and I was able to graduate from there. I was able to find a job immediately that same year in the teaching field. If I had to do it all over again, I would come right back here and start right where I did.
Sussex County Community College. Start here, go anywhere.
All right, we're back, and now we have with us Jordan Catelli. He's one of our broadcasting students here at Sussex County Community College, and he had a great experience during this last few weeks with the stadium series that the NHL has been putting on. And Jordan, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me.
All right, now you had a great experience. You went to the Rangers practice when the Devils were practicing too later on that day, the day before the first stadium series in the Yankee Stadium. What was it like to be down there on the floor and the ice, and you got some interviews that we're going to show?
Yeah, it was kind of surreal, you know, first walking out onto the field and then just realizing there was a hockey rink in the middle of it, and the experience. It was snowing out on Saturday when we got there from Rangers practice, and it was really cool. You just go out there, expect to see a baseball game, green grass, and the players warming up and throwing, and you go out there, it's a snow-covered field, ice rink in the middle of the field, and the players are practicing, and it was really a surreal, you know, almost like a jaw-dropping experience being out there on the field for the first time ever.
Must have been a thrill. You did some interviews. Let's take a look at some of these. We'll run a few of them here. We have Henrik Lundqvist is there. We had Zuccarello you talked to. You talked to
Callahan.
Ryan Callahan. He is the captain, so you got a chance to talk to the captain. And then also, did we talk to McDonough, right?
I believe so, yes.
Zuccarello. So we're going to take a look at those interviews and see what they had to say about this great event, which is the Stadium Series that's been running it all around the country. We have 6 games coming up right through the rest of the winter. I think the last game is in March, so it should be an exciting time. Let's see what those interviews what happened with those interviews.
How was the ice?
It was good. I mean, the snow was building up pretty good out there, so you know, you have to take that into consideration. But you know, other than that, when the snow was gone, the ice was good condition.
How quickly do you stop looking around at the whole scene and everything, and focus on a practice, and then realize tomorrow's just a regular game, at least as far as standings purposes go?
Yeah, I mean, you know, all practice you're kind of looking around and enjoying it. I think this was the day where you get to enjoy it. You get to, you know, take everything in. You have your family here, and we're all professionals in here, and we know when we come to the rink tomorrow, it's 2 points on the line.
The snow and the conditions not readily dealt with every other game.
Yeah, I'm sure the finesse. It's harder to make tape-to-tape pass and stuff like that. So you just have to be smart and play a simple game.
We were fortunate enough to play in the Winter Classic in Philly, and we were the road team there. So once the game starts, I think the road team will definitely take effect. But as of right now, it kind of just feels like home.
Snow coming down, did it start reminding you of Philly with the Classic over here?
I think it reminded me more of back home when I started to play the game. This is how it looked. It was a little colder and a lot of snow, and we had to take breaks from clearing up the snow and maybe look for some pucks, but definitely brought back some memories.
All right, great interviews. So you got a chance to get into the locker room and all that. Must have been really exciting.
It was awesome.
Now, what about the games? You went to both games, so tell us about them. I know the Devils game wasn't that great for you, being a Devils fan, but still being in there must have been great.
Yeah, it was definitely a one-of-a-kind experience, something that, you go out there and you expect to go see a baseball game, and then there's a hockey rink in the middle of it. And it was really cool, something that you don't get to see every day, certainly with these new Stadium Series games the NHL has been promoting and doing over the last several years. First one in New York, first one at Yankee Stadium. Two great rivals, Rangers, Devils. Seems like no matter where they play or when they play, it's always a great rivalry. And the game certainly really didn't disappoint. First period, a lot of scoring, great action. And, the crowd was great. They had over 50,000 fans for both games, and it was really an experience unlike anything else, going to the Rock, going to the Garden, both two great venues in the NHL, but then going to Yankee Stadium and all the baseball experience, all the history in there, and then to tie hockey into it, it was really just another great experience, another great chapter in Yankee Stadium.
And then you went to the first you had the afternoon game, and there was a delay because of the sun, and then it clouded over. And then you went to the night game. That must have been a whole different experience, right?
Yeah, we went to the night game as well, the Rangers-Islander game.
Right.
And that was another great experience, two
rivals.
Two great rivals, and some will argue that the Rangers-Islanders rivalry is greater than the Rangers-Devils rivalry.
Well, because of the longevity.
Back in the 70s, the Islanders, when they were winning Stanley Cup after Stanley Cup, it seemed like, and all that fight for New York and who was the better team. And last night certainly didn't disappoint. They had a great showing, great crowd. They actually had a few more people attend last night's game than they did Sunday's game, which not many people expected, with the Islander game being on a weekday, on a Wednesday night, as compared to the Devils being a Sunday afternoon. But two great crowds, two great games, and two great experiences.
And it was a great experience for all of our students. Of course, we had Alyssa and Abby on earlier in the show talking. They went over to see Media Day, which we talked about earlier, so great experience all around for our students here at Sussex County Community College. Well, thanks, Jordan, for stopping in on your busy schedule.
Yeah.
I know, and you enjoyed a great time there. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us right here on Skybox. Watch for more sports and programming here on EDTV Channel 20. I'm Tony Salimo. Take care, folks.